Hey there, Goa fans. This is Mark DJ Solitaire here with episode 89 of Retro Goa Explorations, my weekly series in which I share in every episode one of my favorite tracks from the 1990s Goa Trance psychedelic dance movement. So we are nearing the end of this calendar year of 2024. We are still in the school year of the kind of the Goa season of 96 to 97 in our exploration of tracks from that period, from roughly September 96 through to August of 97. Such a rich time, spending more time in this period than in the previous sort of seasons that I looked at, simply because there's many more projects, many more styles of music that were around. It was a pivotal time for me, moving to London in September of 96, getting to know artists, getting to know other DJs and other members of the scene. And the project we're featuring today has been looked at before, and in fact, this is the second track from this album that I'm featuring. I think this is the first time I've done this, and simply because it had to be done. This was such an iconic production. It really hit everybody on such a level and continues to. And choosing one track from an album is sometimes impossible. People ask me for top tens or this. I mean, doing a top 10 and having it be numerical as if the number one is number one. Um, this kind of competition is really hard. The classical composer Bartok said, competitions are for horses, not people, and not musicians. I agree with Bartok there, and in a few other areas as well. But today we're having the second track that I'm featuring from the iconic IFO album of the Pleiadians, which came out in the, I think it was the summer of 97. And when I featured Maya earlier in this series, in the same season, I told the story of how the album came to be made, how Carlo Paterno of the Pleiadians Etnica, the joint project had broken his arm, and so he was in the studio alone while the other three musicians were touring. And in a month, basically laid down the foundations of this unbelievable concept album where each of the seven tracks was named after the seven stars of the seven sisters of the Pleiadians. Right now, Etnica was already signed to Blue Room at this point. I believe they signed in 95. And so when they released on other labels, they used the name Pleiadians. So they had a single on Flying Rhino in I believe it was sort of late 95, early 96. I featured that Zeta Reticule, one of the mixes. And then there's this unbelievable album. They'd actually used the name Pleiadians possibly before they signed to Blue Room. There was a track, I think the earlier tracks were on Symbiosis. But in any case, this was very much anticipated. The word had gotten around London, and I had heard DJ Purple play Electra at a party early in 97 in Tottenham Court Road. And, my eyes widened, as was often the case, but certainly on this occasion. And I would just, every time I popped by the Dragonfly office, I was like, when is the album coming out? And then one day it was finally there. And dear old Darren, I should say dear young Darren, as he's several years younger than me and was in this very enviable position, doing a wonderful job at Dragonfly, handed me the CD. And it did not leave my portable player for a very long time. Um, and so I immediately gravitated towards a few of the tracks. And one of the things that's just wonderful, I think, about the whole album, first of all, is the variety of styles. You can always tell it's Etnica Pleiadians. You can always hear that sound. Um, and yet the storyline, the moods, it all varies. So, Maya was the first one. I mean, it's the opening one, and I've said before to many people that I think it's one of the most beautiful emotional tracks in the entire pantheon, in the lexicon of all of these productions. But of course, I was drawn to Electra. Alcione was, on the famous single. That was the one track from the album that I remember hearing Tsuyoshi play regularly. It was on vinyl. And so, as a single. So, in addition to being part of the album. But Asterope, like Maya, right? 11-ish minutes, even though the timing is completely off on the back of the CD. I don't know what somebody was smoking when they did the timing here, but it's not 8:42 at all. It's 11:16 or something along those lines. My memory, I always remember the countdown because of DAT players, but it was something. It was 11 and a bit. But this one's also 11 and a bit. And just epic storyline. But again, it's a combination of moods. And this is, I've said it before, I'll say it again. I will sound like a broken record, which is annoying if you're playing a gig with vinyl or with CDs that jam. That, this music, one of the most important aspects of this music, I think, is that we have a combination of emotions at the same time. So it can be, joyous and a little tinged with a little bit of sadness. Or there can be some, ecstatic celebration, but there's also some angst tied in. There's such a blend of moods, and this is what the human condition is like. We love to label and say this is this and that is that, but life is messier than that. And especially emotions, right? It's not always clear cut, and we have more than one at the same time. And so this is what I love about this music, and is one of the things I absolutely love about this track. Um, like Maya, it's not a track that you can just put on. It's like, yeah, I feel like playing this track. Yeah, yeah, of course you should play it when you feel like it, per se. You shouldn't play it if you don't feel that it's right. But it's more than just feeling like it. It's really, there's a certain time that this kind of melody and this kind of story fits in the overall storyline. It's not a banger in a sense to just get the crowd up and, woohoo. There can definitely be some woohoo going on with this track, but it's not just because of some up elements. There's a much deeper quality to this particular track. It's one of the things that really endears it to me, or endears me to it, or however it works. So the only other detail I have to share about this that Mauri shared with me is that uh, the opening sound is of supposedly a UFO Pleiadian spaceship that was recorded. It was on some video by this guy, Billy Meyer, who claimed to have seen lots of UFOs and so on. And even the UFO fans think the guy's, a scammer. But they recorded from this video of Billy Meyer the sound that was supposedly of a spaceship landing or taking off or something. And it sounds like this sort of heavy breathing, heavy sighing. So it's a great sound, and it's perfect at the beginning of this track. And for 25 plus years, I didn't know this. I just found it out from Mauri. So that's just a cool little piece of information. I always just thought it was almost like this cosmic breath, the breath of these aliens, which, maybe that has something to do with their real ships. But in any case, let's get started with this incredible track. And I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it because, hey, how do we pronounce Pleiadian names? In Italian, maybe? So Asterope? We'll see. In any case, here we go. Pleiadians masterpiece, track number 6 of 7 on the IFO album. And it's the sixth one is the last dance track. The 7th is a more, down tempo one. Here we go with Asterope. So here's that supposedly the sound of the ship. There's this beautiful cloud of energy that comes in with this. Then this beautiful 4-note motif, very inquisitive and mystical. And then different 4-note combination here while this oscillating pattern comes in. Beautiful interplay. Right, so you have a 4-note pattern followed by a separate 4-note pattern that sounds related. But here it's the second one, and then it leads in to the kick. There's a great verve here with this kind of the movement that this creates. And then the voicing of that synth. Really, again, kind of inquisitive and mystical, this riff. Voicing changes there. Also, we don't have the 4-note pattern in the background anymore. I love that accent on the offbeat. And there's this gnarly stuff coming in. Again, this blend, you have this lyrical, beauty, and then this intensity starting to creep in. It's like the heart rate accelerating. Then, kick drops out. The storyline here is just impeccable. Drums. And then one of the most beautiful build-ups and melodies here is this kind of sheet metal sound here with this. Oh, so not there. So this is what's interesting. So they don't do it there, but then listen what happens here. On the third time, it's got that crackle. And then again on the fourth time. Throws me every time. So the second one tricks it like it did me over there. And this anguished cry. So you have the rhythm there, as well as the overall pitch kind of the notes, not tones. And then this leads into just one of the most gorgeous melodies. Unbelievable. And then we have that crackling of tension while that melody gets doubled up. Got that extra level there. And he's so smooth and lyrical, but also up and also intense. Then again, pay attention to the storyline, where this starts to go to. And then we have again the UFO sound, 4-note melody. Echoes of Close Encounters of the Third Kind, where those notes are kind of a communication with the alien species. And then this pause here. There's the rhythm. And the accents, not on the stronger beats. Voice bubbling out of nothingness. Bit of a drum build up here while this comes in. Here we go. So I get some cross-hatching and this voice or this being getting closer. Here we get that kick. Tension building. That gnarly, gurgly voice. Gorgeous melody. Again, it's just like something new. There's this whole other combination of notes happening, which leads back into that uplifting melody. And first, this comes back. Again, these different messages are communicating with each other. But it's not quite the big statement of that yet. Right where we have that riff, and then now we get that full exclamation. That more of that frisson, as they say in French, this kind of excitement, this sort of static electricity. I love that undulating voice while there's this beautiful lyrical legato above. Then doesn't stay still for too long. Very important development here. So now it's just like all the chaos, all the intensity and excitement and anguish and joy and just all the emotions. Listen to the other voices that are in the background still. Doubled up. So it's all these, again, this chorus of beings joining in the message. And I love the way you have some pulling back and then what is this? Listen to the exposition, the storyline is just incredible. And each of these riffs, I mean, they almost sound like the path that a ship is taking. This build up here. Then that rubbery bass. And then this variation on a theme here. Not here, next round. Just these storylines just keep expanding. Getting that drum build up. And that note down there. Those notes leading into the next round. I think goosebumps every time. Just all the different textures. Still have that crackling. Then This four-note melody. With that ship sound. Hmm. I mean, you can't just say that's a banger. I mean, it's just so superficial for a track like that. I mean, it is banging. It is uplifting. It is kicking. It is powerful, but it's deep. I mean, there's no surface with this. It's just all of the other dimensions. And so it's a rare occasion when I play this. It for me, this has to be, Maya, you can do leading into the darkness. I think this one has to be coming out of it. I think this is sort of after you've had those dark periods in the night and the sun might be up already, or it might be coming up, or it might actually still be dusk, but or dawn rather. Dusk might work, but in any case, for me, it's very specific. Just the flavoring of this track, the storyline, the kind of celebration. I wouldn't do this before the darkness. I do this after. I do this after. So, but hey, that's just me. Um, Absolutely magical, magical, otherworldly music. Structurally so interesting. They've got some. I mean, it is long, and yet it doesn't feel it. All of those elements that they work in, we've heard some of them several times, and then the combinations change, and then some of these riffs expand and turn into this whole other thing. I mean, the level of creativity is just off the charts. So, again, as you could see, I can still get surprised by the storyline and by the structure after how many years. And this is one that I know really, really well. It's yes, it's in my top whatever. I mean, again, I can't deal with the numbers. Um, I can't choose between this and Maya. Love them both. This is why I'm featuring it, in this series as well. And it could feature, and it could feature several other tracks in here. It pains me not to be featuring Alcyone and Electra as well as the other ones. I mean, it's all great. But this is just this kind of epic storytelling, like this Odyssey, um, this mythological kind of intergalactic journey that the parties really used to feel like, and that we used to experience ourselves going on. And wow. Anyway, I could wax on forever about this sort of thing, but I will sign off so that you can hear the entire thing without any commentary and just marvel at the musical magnificence of this incredible journey and where it takes you. So buckle up, or unbuckle rather, and prepare to have a good dance perhaps around the living room or wherever it is that you may be. I am Mark DJ Solitaire, wrapping up episode 89 of Retro Goa Explorations with the masterpiece by the Pleiadians, Asterope.